This is what Thursday, June the 27th, looks like in the world of business and economy. Welcome to your Business Morning. I am Busin Namafaye. We're live to you from Lagos, the global headquarters of Channels Television. This is one very big story you need to pay attention to. You see, the problem of pensions payment in Nigeria is not going anywhere yet, not at least by the current revelation, so you need to pay very good attention. The acting Director General of the Pension Industry Regulator, PENCOM, Aisha Dahir Umar, says state governments are in arrears of 3.4 billion naira pension contributions that they deducted from workers' monthly salaries but failed to remit to their pensions accounts. According to the PENCOM boss, some of the unpaid pension deductions into workers' retirement savings accounts have been outstanding for a year. At least about 38% of that have been unpaid for a year. Pensions is the underbelly of the several months of unpaid salaries of state government workers, despite more than 1 trillion naira Paris Club refunds by the Buhari's administration, various bank borrowings in many states. If you remember, the last IMF report on Nigeria, that was in 2018, sounded warning on the worsening fiscal position of state governments or subnationals in Nigeria. Meantime, listed petrochemical company Notori Chemical Industries PLC, based in Onne, Port Harcourt, has unveiled a new green schools initiative being floated first in Adamawa State. Notori says it's looking to promote agriculture as business in secondary schools across the country. Notori Power and Infrastructure CEO Femi Solebo says when the current farmers retire, Nigeria will face a major crisis in food production because without a strategy, a new generation of sustainable farmers will not exist. End of quote. And sticking in the business of agriculture, agro-allied, NASL has promised 50% credit risk guarantee for 2 billion naira working capital required by an Ondo State-based Agro Traders Limited. The company is a cocoa processing firm targeting 22,000 metric tons of cocoa exports. NASL was the agency created by the Central Bank of Nigeria to provide a risk guarantee, especially to farmers in the rural areas. Now, NASL says 50% of the 2 billion naira will be guaranteed to enable this company based in Ondo State meet its outlook for 22,000 metric tons of cocoa exports. Meantime, the Ondo State government under Rotimi Akeredolu today published the state's consolidated statement of financial performance for the year ended December 2018. These are the highlights, and you just need to take note a little bit here. Ondo State, according to the statement, had a share of the monthly FAC, what you call the monthly FAC allocations from the federal government. For last year, that was 57.76 billion. That's about nearly 8 billion naira higher than 50.6 billion naira that the state budgeted in last year's appropriations. And as a share of the value-added tax that was also distributed by the federal government, Ondo State says it got 11.41 billion, which of course was lower than the budget of 12 billion naira. In terms of tax revenue, the Akeredolu administration brought in 10.9 billion naira last year, which was lower than 12.28 billion that this administration thought they would. In terms of non-tax revenue, that figure was much sharply higher. 13.57 billion was what Ondo State government brought in as non-tax revenue against a budgeted 8.6 billion naira. In terms of investment income, that was a little bit slower or much lower. 350 million was budgeted, 216.64 million was what came in. So what about salaries and wages? The Akeredolu administration managed to pay much less. 51.55 billion was the total salaries and wages for Ondo State government last year. That's lower than 52.78 billion naira budgeted for the year. And in terms of overhead costs, the administration also managed to save some costs. The budgeted cost was 21.22 billion, but the total overhead came in at 14.68 billion naira. So simply put, total revenue for last year by Ondo State government, 110.67 billion naira. Total expenses, 82.10 billion naira. That gives you an operating surplus of 28.56 billion naira. Let's talk about the stock markets. Yesterday, we continued. The market slowed down by 0.20%, a little bit smaller. On Monday, it was a bit bigger. Then it narrows down on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, it shrank a little bit again by 0.2%. That's 0.2%. The market's trying to hang on there to the 13 trillion naira equity capitalization level, and not looking to lose anything around the 29,000 level. But if you take that away, you look at the market volume, Wema Bank, the massive share transactions in this tier 2 lender is still ongoing, contributing 194.66 million to the headline figure you see at the top of the screen there, 394.06 billion naira. Beg your pardon, that will be yes, that's correct. 394.06 million. Wema Bank, 194.66 million. There, if you take that out of the market, we finished off about 200, which was around the daily average or in terms of volume of shares. Naira value, a little bit consistent because of the price at which you're looking at Wema Bank, a very small cap bank, tier 2. By the way, deals also so consistent, but the banking sector gained 0.28%, moving back into the green territory. The insurance followed their cousins by about 0.75%. Consumer goods and industrial goods were where the market bled. 0.35, 1.88%. Oil and gas up 0.91%. Thank you. Look at the oil and gas. That's Seplat there, up 1.01%, and 40 oil back in the green territory, 4.83%. On the day. The volumes a bit much smaller in 40 oil PLC, as there were rumors that the company may change its name from 40 oil, as we have new owners in there, strategic owners that is. So the name 40 oil might change once again. That is still subject to a lot of things anyway. But the rest of the oil and gas market, you can see that. Let's move on to the unlisted securities. Roaring back, NSE over-the-counter market, 1.78%. That's quite a massive one-day gain for the small cap company. The market cap looking to cross 530 billion naira anytime soon, perhaps between today and tomorrow. In terms of turnover, that was a little bit smaller in size than about 270 we did on Tuesday, 170,862. And the big story at the fixed income space was the Naira bond auction conducted by the Debt Management Office, 100 billion naira on offer. That was oversubscribed by 60.13 billion naira. A very nice day for the debt auction. We'll talk more about that later on the program, getting some of the analysis into that from FMDQ Exchange Place. Let's talk about the commodities market in just a minute, just to take a very sip out of this cup of tea.